Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michael Razor, and this is the Lake Dawson Morning Show here in New York City, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday. I think it's about 47 degrees outside. Sun is just coming up. In morning news, make sure you get your tea. In morning news, I found out late last night or early this morning that Jeff Bezos has decided to, or is thinking about bringing I think 500,000 of his employees to Long Island City. As you all know, or if you don't know, many new developments have been built in Long Island City. It's close to the water. I mean, the properties that are closer to the water have been there a little while, but further inland, a lot of redevelopment programs have been going on. The government gave a lot of construction companies the opportunity to redevelop residential and commercial spaces in the Long Island City area. If you are a native New Yorker, you would know that Long Island City was not the best place to be at one point in time. Now we have Uber, now we have Lyft, now we have a plethora of companies that work in the Long Island City location. And that's Long Island City, Queens. That's not Manhattan. That's not Long Island. Just saying. It's an amazing alternative for residential, especially for those who make enough but not enough to afford to live in Midtown Manhattan, as rents and purchases have skyrocketed. You could also move to Jersey, then you'd be double taxed, but you know. I have a friend of mine who lives in Jersey, and she has an amazing view of the city, and it only takes her about 20 minutes to get to the city. So maybe you want to do that. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the show for today is going back to real estate agents, the Newbie real estate agent, Newbie real estate professional, interested in growing their company as a whole, interested in developing themselves as a real estate professional as a whole. There are many programs in New York City that help you to develop your real estate skills, as well as sales skills and so on and so forth. Depending on the company that you work for, there are definitely opportunities out there for you to take classes, to be shown the ropes. Just be mindful, this is business, ladies and gentlemen. This is business. So if this is business, you have to make sure that you're playing the right card, right? You don't want to get jerked in this situation. The individuals that are coming from foreign countries or from not native of the United States and are starting out as real estate agents, get with someone who knows the city. Allow them to show you the ropes, show you what locations are hot, show you what locations are not. When is the slow season? When is the fast season? That kind of thing. And this is the most important thing is understand you're being helped by other people, but be in your own lane, right? Because nobody is as important as you. Be as successful as you need to be, right? Like, that's the key, right? So I think I might need to push this back a little bit. Woo. All right. So as a real estate agent, for example, from my past experiences, I noticed that a lot of people in the sales department and rental department were focused more on, this is when I first started in real estate, working with a beautiful woman, Tiana Von Johnson. She was the owner of Gold Star Properties. of New York, and I believe she sold the company, and now she's on tour and doing women empowerment and what have you. I'm sure if you guys want more information on her, you can just click on TianaVonJohnson.com or just Google search it. She'll definitely pop up. But first of all, I met some amazing people, some people that are still in the business to this day. Mike, Caressa, who else? That's a lot of people. Anyway, the point is grow your friendships with the people that you do business with, and then 2, learn a lot from each other. One thing I had to realize is that I had to get my name out there, so it required me to have a lot of ads. So it had to be over like 300 or 400 ads at the time, with properties around the city, FSBOs, luxury properties, some states that you may live in. Maybe you live in Maryland, maybe you live in North Carolina, and they don't have as many luxury buildings. So maybe you want to focus on just the general sales aspect. Single family homes, $350,000, $400,000, $250,000 for purchase. So what you want to do is what I did. This is what I did. It may not work for you, but I realized that it doesn't matter the type of real estate you sell. Okay, it's about your knowledge. Okay, it is about your work ethic. It's about your presentation, and once again, it's about your knowledge. Okay, so you have to, if you need help, get help from people that are in the business, and or read books, or whatever, what you have to do, whatever you have to do, right? So you want to, when you put up your advertisements, don't be afraid. If your office has advertisements for luxury properties, like in New York City, we have properties that are $14 million, $100 million, properties such as those. First, make sure that you're at the company that you want to be at. I said that in the last video, but make sure you're at the company you want to be at. Secondly, check the inventory. See what agents in the company are selling, and if there's something that you like, speak to them about it, etc., etc. What you would do then is go to open houses, $1 million open houses, $1 million listings. Speak to the agents. Look at the properties. Let them know that you have clients that are interested in purchasing. And then what you want to do is, in the marketing spectrum, is create advertisements that focus on luxury property, whether it's rentals or sales. Okay, I've had clients purchase and rent $1 million listings when I merged and worked with other people. I've had clients reach out to me for studio apartments on South Broadway in what is it called? I'm thinking Hell's Kitchen. It's not Hell's Kitchen, but it is is it Gramercy? Near Gramercy, right? So it's near Gramercy. But what you want to do is put the advertisements out. Bring the individual. What I found out was a lot of individuals that called me on these $1 million properties, they were international clients. So a lot of them were from Canada, South America, from India, from Dubai, which put my marketing techniques on a whole other level. It taught me that if I want to get high profile clients, I'm going to have to stay up later than the rest of the agents. I'm going to have to move a little differently than the other agents. This is chess. This is not checkers. So what I began to do is put up advertisements on a 24-hour basis on an automatic updated scale. So I would create the advertisements and I would update them, and I would start the marketing process at about 1 a.m. And then the advertisements would update every hour or 2 hours. And the reason why you want to do that is because you have oversaturation of real estate agents in the market trying to push themselves to be the best here in New York anyway. So you want to be the one that's really pushing the bar, that's really working hard, that's getting these deals done. See, once you get your first deal out of the way, then first you'll get a check, number one. And if it's $1 million listing or even a 6-figure listing, you'll still get 3 to 6% of that deal, right? It depends on if you're working with another broker or what have you. And then once you get that, then you'll be able to utilize that for whatever you want to do afterward, right? More marketing services. My suggestion is to reinvest in your business. Just because you work for the brokerage, you actually work with the brokerage and you are the business. So you want to build up your clientele, right? And then you might want to get a software that finds out which purchasers or business owners or own investment companies in real estate. This will give you leverage. This will give you the opportunity to show properties that are in the city that are lower in price, but have the capability for you to become not only the seller but also the renter, and you become the representative of the property itself. Okay, so that's definitely something that you want to do. Once you have gotten that process up, and hopefully you all have a pen and paper and you're writing everything down that I'm saying. Sometimes I go back, sometimes I go forward with information, but just take as much information down as you possibly can. If you have questions, put it in a little message box down below, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Okay? All right. So you want to definitely do that. The next strategy, okay? Don't be afraid to market the $1 million listings. Do not. Okay? You will receive phone calls, you will receive emails, and make sure you have a solid plan to respond to those emails and phone calls as much as you possibly can. Okay? This is the key, ladies and gentlemen. So you definitely want to do that. As you go along in the building process of your business, you want to begin to scale up. So you've decided over time, hey, my business is growing. I have more listings. You want to begin to now reach out to the FSBOs and try and get exclusive listings. These exclusive listings make you the lead on the property sales and marketing. So you would have to go to Craigslist, go to FSBO.com, Google FSBOs for sale, real estate that business owners and investors are selling, and pitch your product. Pitch yourself to them. You're gonna schedule an appointment to meet with the individual or group of people and present yourself as professionally as possible with your portfolio and with your ideas on how you plan on selling the property. You have to understand that this is a business, so you want to come correct, right? But once you do that, and you get your first listing exclusive, now you don't have to do as much work. You don't have to do, when you are a seller's agent, you have to do less work. You just have the inventory, you do open houses, you maybe you send emails, make phone calls, create an email list for the viewings, but you basically put the advertisement up on several sites, and you wait for the people to come. People come, they view. Sometimes you don't even have to show them around. You just allow them to look on their own. If they have questions, cool. If no, that's fine. And then, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, sometimes a little longer, depending on where you live. But the property will be sold. You'll get your commission, and that'll be that. Okay? So, it is very important for you to understand the process. My suggestion is to get an accountant, get an attorney. If you don't already have one, get a real estate attorney, get an accountant, get a bookkeeper, which is accountant obviously, and attorney and assistant. Now you can get those from Fiverr.com if you're just starting out, and then once you begin closing deals, you might want to expand and get more pricier options that'll help you better. You want to make sure everything that you do is as professional as possible. Make sure you have your business cards, ways of communication. Some people suggest not having business cards. They suggest to get the other person's business card if the transaction is good, and they reach back out to them on what the next steps will be. Okay, so it just depends. What else? Yeah, so there's different facets of real estate and being a real estate agent and focusing on specific aspects of real estate. You could also go into pitching commercial developers as a real estate agent, and you could pitch them for a listing in one of their buildings. What you would do is if you find some type of construction in your neighborhood or in the surrounding area, they usually have worker permits on the walls, and on the worker permits they're usually QR codes or some type of contact. You want to put your phone to the QR code system and get the information for that QR code. What that'll do is give you the phone number and address of the developing company for that property, and you would call them to set a time to meet to speak on exclusive sales for the property, or rentals for that matter. I know of a lot of people who have gotten rental contracts for buildings, and all they did was sit in the office and they waited for people to come into the office. They showed them the apartments, and then they went back into the office. If the person liked it, they closed the deal. If they didn't, then you had to have specific requirements, of course. W-2s, checks, a certain amount of years of W-2s actually, and I think in New York you have to make 40 times the rent. They want to know, and your credit report. So they want to know that you are legitimate and reliable in that process. The other thing, I think I said it before in the other in the other video, get this book, Frederick Eklund, The Sell, The Secrets of Selling Anything to Anyone. This book, in this book, Frederick goes into detail on his everyday life, everyday process, and he also gives tips on how to please an individual that you want to work with in your office, in your company. And he's an international businessman, so trust me, that's definitely worth the money. You could get his book on Audible. You could get his book on maybe Scribd. I'm not sure. I think so. Or you could just go to Barnes and Nobles or Amazon and just purchase his book. Easy as cake. Okay. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, business is growth and is a growing process. Okay. In real estate and in investing, as a professional in general, there are things that are going to come up. There are things that you never thought might come up that are going to come up. And I'm telling you right now, it's better to have experience in it than to assume, because you're going to look really stupid. This is the other thing that I want to talk. I said it in other videos, but what I want to say is this. If you decide that you're going to work with an investor as a real estate agent, know what you're doing. Know what the client is looking for, okay? You can't present yourself to an investor the same way that you present yourself to a general purchaser of a property. Okay, it's two separate entities. It's two totally different aspects of real estate. Okay, it's split down the middle. It's two totally different. One person is looking for one thing, the other person is looking for another. And you, like for example, as an investor, when I go into, when I speak to a real estate agent and they show me a property, I really don't care much about how nice the property looks. That's not my point. Do not do that. Right? That's not the point. The point is, how can I make money from this investment? That's what you want to focus on. You need to focus on what the taxes are. You need to focus on how much the price is. You need to focus on how much the property is worth. You need to focus on how much money, how much equity I'm already going to have in a property once I purchase the property, how much development cost is going to be, what are the closing costs and all of that other stuff that you know, that include after repair value, all of that good stuff. Okay, and what you can watch my other videos. I'm sure I spoke about that before, but you want to make sure that you deal with real estate investors differently than just general real estate clients. If you have a family, a wife, a husband that's interested in purchasing a single family or condo or co-op, you could show them the property, show them the property, talk about how great it is. But and that'll be it. That'll be all that you need to do for the most part. Remember what the purchase price is, what the taxes are on the property, what the amenities are in the building. Okay, cool. You're a presenter at that point. But when you are dealing with investors, you have to have everything on point. Okay? You have to be a real estate agent. Okay? And it becomes frustrating when you're dealing with real estate agents that, number one, act as if they don't have the time for you. And they're just rushing you off the phone, or they're rushing you to go see a property, or look, a client is a client is a client. It doesn't matter, right? And I think a lot of real estate agents and some brokers, for that matter, forget that this is a business transaction, and even though you have multiple transactions to go through, this one could be the possible one that purchases the property. Okay, So just be mindful. Be mindful. What else? This is what I want you all to do. If you have any suggestions on what I should talk about, if you have questions, go ahead and put it down in the message box below, and I'll be happy to message you back, or respond in the messages, or put up a video on it, and this way it'll be clear. We'll focus on that one thing, okay? But that's what we're gonna do. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is sales. This is sales. This is sales. So whatever your life goals are, whatever you're going through in life, understand that sometimes you may have to cancel out the things that you wanted to do to do the things that you need to do to get the check that you want. Okay? Yeah. So that's going to be it for the show for today. I'm Mike Razor. This is Lake Dawson TV, the real estate confidant. If you have iTunes, you could check in iTunes, type in the real estate confidant, and that is my iTunes podcast. You could go ahead and listen in on those shows. If you can't watch the videos, that's free of charge. And like I said, I have the 90-day blitz on Amazon, on Amazon.com, and you could get that for, right now it's $7.99, but I'm going to be having a sale on it where it'll be only shipping. You only have to pay shipping, and it's free. It'll be for Christmas. It'll be a Christmas gift. So get as many of those as you possibly can, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be part one, and then we'll work on some other things. All right? So you all have a wonderful day today. This is Mike Razor on the Lake Dawson Morning Show. Have a wonderful day.